Beloved chosen one. Listen carefully, something sacred has just happened in the unseen realm. Heaven has been holding its breath, watching your every step, waiting for the exact moment you would finally surrender your will to His. And when you did, when your heart whispered, "Yes, Lord," the silence of eternity broke. Every angel lifted their voice. Trumpets of light resounded across the heavens. The throne room erupted in joy because you finally walked in His will. You don't see it yet, but the moment your obedience aligned with heaven's rhythm, an invisible roar shook through creation. You think you made a quiet decision, but no. Beloved, your decision was an earthquake in the spirit. For years you wrestled with doubt, with delay, with fear. You questioned your value, wondered if God had truly called you. You looked at others running ahead and thought, maybe I missed it. But heaven never forgot. Heaven was waiting for this one act of surrender. You see, when a chosen one yields, the atmosphere changes. When a heart stops resisting the call, divine order floods in. Angels who have stood beside you in silence now rush forward to carry out assignments that have been on pause. There is movement again, holy motion in the invisible realm because your obedience unlocked it. The word of the Lord thunders through the ancient pages, reminding you of this truth found in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 2. All these blessings shall come upon you and overtake you, if you obey the voice of the Lord your God. Do you feel that? Chosen one, the blessings of obedience are overtaking you even now. You are not chasing favor, favor is chasing you. Every tear you cried in hidden rooms is being collected. Every not yet you endured is turning into a divine now. Heaven has rewritten your timeline because of your surrender. And hell trembled when you said yes. The same demons that whispered lies into your weary mind fled at the sound of your obedience. Because obedience is more powerful than deliverance. It closes the door the enemy once used to enter. You have shut the gate, sealed by your faith. You might think, but I'm still waiting for breakthrough. Listen, the breakthrough has already started. The shaking you feel is not destruction, it's construction. Heaven is rebuilding what disobedience once delayed. Every delay, every detour, every disappointment, they all make sense now under His hand. Nothing was wasted. Even the wilderness was training. The angels sing over you tonight. They remember your prayers, your quiet sacrifices, your long nights of wondering. God, are you still there and now? As heaven roars in celebration, they echo one truth. You made it through the testing, and you did not let go. The Father's voice whispers across eternity, "This one belongs to me." And because of that declaration, doors that were once sealed are opening. The atmosphere around you is changing. Your relationships, your thoughts, your spirit, all are aligning under divine order. You are walking not as one searching for approval, but as one already approved by heaven. So stand tall, lift your head high. You are no longer wandering, you are commissioned. You carry the scent of obedience, the fragrance that fills heaven with joy. Your yes is your anointing oil. Your surrender is your crown. Now, let this word take root deep within you. Heaven doesn't celebrate perfection. Heaven celebrates obedience. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just need to keep saying yes. Every time you obey, you echo heaven's own rhythm. If this message stirs something in your spirit, if you feel that deep confirmation that this word is for you, then don't let it pass silently. Like this message, share it with someone who needs to be reminded that obedience still moves heaven. Subscribe to stay connected with this flow of divine revelation. And finally, as a prophetic act of alignment, comment the number 777 below. declaring with faith, heaven rejoices because I have walked into his will. You remember those years of stillness, don't you? Chosen one. The endless nights when prayers felt unanswered, when heaven seemed so far away that your faith trembled under the weight of silence. You looked around and saw others moving, growing, receiving, while you remained hidden, waiting for a sign. But you didn't know then what heaven knew all along, that silence was not abandonment. It was strategy. The silent years are the sacred years, the years where heaven hides its greatest treasures. God wasn't ignoring you. He was preparing you. He wasn't punishing you. He was protecting what he placed inside you. Because divine purpose can't be rushed, it must mature in secret before it can shine in public. You were never forgotten. You were simply in process. In those quiet days, you learned how to hear the faintest whisper of his presence. The moments when you cried, "God, are you still there?" were the very moments he was nearest. He didn't shout back. He let silence do what shouting never could. He let it refine you, teach you to trust what you couldn't see. You thought you were waiting for him, but he was actually waiting for you to grow, to heal, to see that your identity isn't tied to outcomes but to obedience. Heaven's timeline was never delayed. It was divine. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 11. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." Those words have echoed through generations, and now they echo for you. The plan was never canceled. The silence was simply the part you couldn't yet understand. You see, heaven moves with precision. Every moment of waiting was a layer of wisdom being added to your soul. Every delay was heaven protecting you from something that could have destroyed your purpose too soon. You didn't waste those years, they were your foundation. When you were praying for progress, heaven was teaching you endurance. When you were crying for clarity, heaven was building your character. When you were begging for doors to open, heaven was strengthening your hands so that when they finally did, you could hold what was inside. The quiet season was where your roots grew deep enough to survive the storm that's coming to lift you higher. Because without deep roots, blessings can crush what they were meant to crown. You were hidden not to be forgotten, but to be preserved. And now, as you look back, you realize how perfectly timed everything was. The unanswered prayers were really answered in a different way. The rejections were redirections. The losses were pruning. You thought you were losing ground, but heaven was tilling the soil. Chosen one. You must understand this silence is not the absence of God, it's the artistry of God. He paints your future in invisible strokes before anyone can see the colors. And now, as the silence begins to break, the masterpiece he's been crafting in the dark is about to be revealed in light. You are stronger now, wiser now, softer yet sharper. The silence that once frightened you has become your sacred friend, because it taught you to hear him in ways words never could. Heaven was not testing your patience, it was strengthening your faith. So when the next season of quiet comes, don't panic. Remember this moment. Remember what the silence built in you. God does his deepest work in the stillness, and the reward is always greater than the wait. And now, as heaven watches, the one who once waited in shadows steps into divine sunlight. You walk with a new rhythm, steady, certain, unshaken, because you've learned that even when heaven is silent, it's never absent. The same God who hid you is now the one revealing you. The silence was your cocoon, but this is your emergence. Every unseen moment has led to this unveiling. What once felt like delay now gleams as destiny fulfilled. Heaven smiles. The earth takes notice. and your soul finally understands God was never late. He was always right on time. Chosen one. Do you remember when the fire came? The moments that burned, the trials that left you trembling, unsure if you would ever recover. Those seasons weren't meant to destroy you. They were meant to define you. Every flame that touched your life was divinely permitted, carefully measured, and used to refine what ordinary comfort could never perfect. You thought the fire came to consume you, but it came to reveal you. It came to show the world what heaven already knew, that there was gold in you. Pure, radiant, heaven-forged gold. The pain, the rejection, the betrayal, none of it was wasted. The fire was never your enemy, it was your anointing in disguise. There were nights you begged God to end it, to take the heat away. But He whispered, "Stay in the furnace. I am with you in it." He was not standing outside watching you suffer. He was standing beside you, shaping your soul in the flames. When you felt abandoned, He was closer than your breath, shielding you from being consumed. The Word of God declares in the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 2, "When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon you." That verse was written for you, chosen one. You didn't walk out of the fire by luck, you walked out by promise. The fire didn't destroy you because it wasn't meant to. It was sent to burn away the parts of you that could not go where God was taking you next. The arrogance, the fear, the dependency on others' approval, all of it turned to ash. What remains now is purified faith. The enemy thought he was ending you, but he was actually preparing your stage. Because when the smoke clears, the world will see the survivor of the flames carrying the scent of heaven. You will not smell like what you've been through. You will carry the fragrance of divine resilience. And when people ask how you made it through, you'll smile, because you'll know it wasn't your strength, it was His presence in the fire. You'll tell them that your pain had a purpose, and that purpose was to bring you closer to His will. The fire stripped you, but it also sealed you. It taught you to trust beyond sight, to love without condition, to believe even when everything around you was falling apart. You have become the evidence that God's grace is stronger than life's trials. And so now, as you stand on the other side, heaven whispers again, "It is finished." Not the end of you, but the end of everything that once tried to break you. You're stepping out of the ashes, radiant and renewed. If you felt the heat, if the fire has ever found your life, take a sacred moment right now and type these words as a declaration: "I'm still standing." Say it because you shouldn't have survived, yet you did. Say it because you've been tested and you've come out stronger. Say it because the same God who stood in the fire with you is the one who now walks you into glory. When you type "I'm still standing," you are not just writing words, you are making a declaration to the heavens and the earth. You are saying, "The fire came, but it did not break me. What was meant to destroy me only proved that God lives in me." Those 3 words carry the weight of every battle you've survived. They are a testimony written in faith and sealed with endurance. When you comment them, you are standing as a living witness that even when everything fell apart, grace kept you upright and purpose kept you breathing. So type it boldly: "I'm still standing." Let heaven echo it back over your life. Let those who scroll by feel the power behind it. You're not just surviving, you're rising. Every scar has become proof of God's mercy, and every step forward is evidence that you were never alone. There was a night when everything around you felt like darkness, wasn't there? Chosen one. When confusion wrapped itself around your mind and fear whispered louder than faith, you kept asking, "God, where are you?" But no answer came. You searched the sky, you searched your heart, yet the heavens remained silent. It was a quiet so deep it ached. But what you didn't know was that even in that silence, he was speaking. Not in thunder, not in wind, not in earthquake, but in the gentle whisper that only surrendered hearts can hear. You were listening for volume, but God was training you to recognize tone. You were waiting for signs while he was teaching you to trust presence. The dark was never punishment. It was invitation. An invitation to see him in a way you never had before. When everything familiar disappeared, when every human voice grew faint, he was drawing you closer to the source of all truth, his whisper. Because only in the dark can you truly learn to hear it. The prophet Elijah experienced this same lessons. After running, hiding, breaking, he stood on the mountain, desperate for God to speak. And heaven did, but not in the storm or the shaking. It came as a breath. That's what you felt too. Chosen one, the breath of God brushing your spirit when everything else went still. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, in the first book of Kings, chapter 19, verse 12. And after the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. That whisper was him. It still is. The same gentle voice that carried Elijah out of despair carried you out too. You were not losing faith, you were learning a deeper form of it. A faith that no longer depends on noise, proof, or feeling, but rests entirely on trust. There were moments you thought the silence meant abandonment, but it was actually intimacy. God doesn't whisper to the crowd, he whispers to those who are close enough to hear. You had to walk through the valley so he could bring you to his side. You had to lose the familiar to gain the eternal. And now you realize what you once called silence was actually the sound of alignment. God was adjusting your spiritual frequency, tuning you to heaven's rhythm. The dark was not empty. It was filled with his voice, teaching you to recognize him beyond circumstance. That's why you no longer panic when you can't hear him right away. You've learned that his silence still speaks volumes. You've come to understand that when heaven seems quiet, it is never absent, it is working. The whisper now lives in you. A constant reminder that his presence is not always loud, but it's always real. And that whisper will guide you for the rest of your journey. It will warn you when danger hides behind opportunity. It will comfort you when loneliness tries to return. It will remind you that you were never meant to walk by sight, but by faith. Every decision you make now flows from that sacred place of stillness. You move differently, think differently, love differently because the whisper has become your compass. You no longer chase signs. You follow peace. You no longer wait for confirmation from others. You listen for that quiet yes in your spirit. The world doesn't understand this kind of relationship. They seek lightning, but you've learned to live by breath. They crave spectacle, but you've found strength in silence. You've discovered that the most powerful moments with God often happen when no one else is watching. And when you look back, you see how every dark night was a classroom of faith. Every unanswered prayer was a conversation you didn't yet recognize. Every lonely tear was a line in the story he was writing. You were not abandoned, you were being refined. So now, when darkness comes again, you don't fear it. You recognize it as holy ground, the place where God whispers your next assignment. The whisper that once frightened you has become your lifeline. The silence that once broke you has become your sanctuary. You are not just someone who survived the night. You are someone who learned to hear heaven in it. And that is a gift that no storm can steal. When heaven celebrated your obedience, hell trembled in response, because, chosen one, every step you take in faith sends shockwaves through the unseen. Angels rejoice not only because you have heard God's call, but because you are walking it out. Step by step, even when the ground beneath you feels fragile. Heaven's celebration isn't quiet, It's like thunder made of joy. The hosts of heaven dance when you obey because obedience releases divine power that ripples through generations. You may not see it, but your simple acts of faith are rewriting stories, your family's story, your community's story, even stories of people you will never meet. When you walk in His will, heaven sees more than just your victory. It sees every person who will be touched because of it. You are not a single spark. You are the start of a wildfire of hope. And that, beloved, is why heaven roars. Your obedience terrifies darkness, because every time you choose faith over fear, you remind the enemy that he's already lost. Every yes you give to God is a weapon forged in light. You may feel small in the natural, but in the spirit you are radiant, shining brighter than 1,000 suns. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, the second book, chapter 4, verse 6. For God, who said, "Let light shine out of darkness," made His light shine in our hearts to give us the light of the knowledge of God's glory displayed in the face of Christ. That light lives in you. It shines through your obedience, through your kindness, through your endurance. You may not even notice it, but others do. They see hope when you speak. They feel peace when you walk into the room. Heaven doesn't just celebrate what you've done, it celebrates who you've become. And as heaven sings, it invites you to keep shining, keep walking, keep allowing that divine light to flow through your life. You are not doing this alone. This is a divine partnership. Heaven moves through willing vessels, and you, chosen one, have become one of them. That is why, if this message stirs something within you, if you felt heaven's whisper while reading these words, I want to invite you into something sacred. This space, this message, this ministry of light only exists because hearts like yours keep it alive. When you like this message, it's as if you're adding another flame to a growing fire of faith. When you share it, that light travels further, touching someone lost in their own night. When you subscribe, you're not joining a list, you're joining a movement of souls awakening to their divine purpose. And if you ever feel moved to sow a seed, to donate, please see it as an act of worship, not obligation. Your gift is like pouring oil into a lamp so its flame can keep burning through the darkness. You become part of the unseen miracle that keeps hope glowing in the hearts of those who still wait for dawn. There is no pressure here, only invitation. The same way a candle offers light freely, this space gives freely too. But if your spirit feels stirred, know that your generosity, no matter how small, becomes a ripple that reaches farther than you can imagine. Like, share, subscribe, give only if your heart whispers yes. Each of these actions is a seed in God's garden, a drop of oil in the vessel of light, a quiet way of saying, I believe this flame should keep burning. Your kindness builds bridges between heaven and earth. You are helping the whisper of heaven find its way into another broken heart. This is not a transaction. It's participation in a divine story that's unfolding one surrendered heart at a time. And heaven takes notice. Every act of generosity, no matter how small, becomes a note in the song heaven sings over you. You are part of something eternal now, a movement of light in a world hungry for it. Heaven's joy continues to thunder, not because of what you have, but because of who you are, a vessel of light, a messenger of hope, and a chosen one walking faithfully in His will. There was a moment, quiet but powerful, when everything shifted. You didn't notice it right away. How could you? Heaven moves subtly, like the turning of tides. But in that instant, when you finally laid everything down, your fears, your plans, your stubbornness, the atmosphere around you changed. It was as if the entire universe paused, waiting for your surrender. That chosen one was the turning point. The moment the script of your life began to rewrite itself under heaven's pen. Before then, you were striving, pushing, trying to make things happen by your own strength. But heaven was waiting not for your perfection, but for your permission. Because when you stop fighting, God starts building. There are some breakthroughs that can only come after surrender. You had to reach the end of yourself to find the beginning of Him. It wasn't weakness, it was wisdom. It was the moment you realized that carrying everything was never your job to begin with. Heaven rejoiced, not because you were finally strong, but because you were finally still. Your surrender opened doors that no effort ever could. What was stuck began to move. What was hidden began to unfold. Because God's will is not found through control, it's found through release. The Spirit spoke through the words of Psalm 37, verse 7. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him. Do not fret when people succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes. That stillness, you've learned that quiet trust is now your greatest weapon. The old you reacted, the new you rests. The old you worried, the new you watches with peace. You've discovered the secret of divine flow. You no longer chase outcomes, you align with purpose. And when alignment happens, acceleration follows. Suddenly, the doors that once resisted begin to open. People who overlooked you now recognize your light. The very things that once burdened you begin to bless you. That's what happens when heaven and earth agree through obedience. Do you feel that quiet strength rising inside you now? It's not adrenaline, it's anointing. The kind of peace that confuses the enemy because it cannot be shaken. The kind of peace that tells storms, you no longer decide my direction. You have stepped into a sacred rhythm. Things that used to take years will now happen in moments. Not because of effort, but because of surrender. You've stopped running in circles and started walking in divine straight lines. Every step forward now echoes with heaven's approval. The turning point wasn't dramatic, it was holy. It happened the moment you whispered, God, I trust you completely. That whisper carried more power than every loud prayer you've ever prayed. Because heaven doesn't measure words by volume, it measures them by surrender. So now, as you move through this new chapter, don't rush. Walk softly, walk wisely, and remember that you are walking in the will of God. Every choice you make from this peace will bear eternal fruit. You are no longer reacting to the world, you are responding to heaven. The fire of striving has gone out, replaced by the calm flame of faith. You've entered the flow where miracles feel natural, because they are simply the byproduct of obedience. And right now, heaven watches again, not with noise this time, but with stillness that feels like awe. The angels see what you've become. The Father smiles because His child has learned what few ever do, that peace is proof of divine alignment. If this word touches something deep in your spirit, take this moment to acknowledge it in faith. Comment the number 1111 below. Let it be your prophetic sign of complete surrender and divine order. As you do, you're declaring that your life is no longer led by fear or force, but by the gentle hand of heaven. Heaven records every humble yes. This number is not magic, it's memory. It marks the place where you stopped striving and started trusting, where you stopped building your own kingdom and allowed God to build His through you. So go ahead, chosen one, type 1111 not for attention, but as a declaration between you and heaven. My turning point is here, and I will not look back. When you write 1111, you're not just typing numbers, you're sealing a covenant. It means alignment, oneness, divine order. It's your quiet amen to heaven's timing. You're declaring, I'm done forcing my way. I walk in rhythm with God now. Let heaven read those numbers as your silent surrender song. There were moments, chosen one, when pain became your teacher, You didn't choose it, no one ever does, but it found you all the same. It came in waves, betrayal that cut deep, loss that hollowed your heart, disappointment that left you questioning your own worth. You prayed for relief, but instead, heaven gave you endurance. You asked for quick healing, but heaven gave you wisdom. And over time, you realized heaven never wastes pain. Every tear you cried was gathered, every groan recorded. Not a single heartbreak went unnoticed. Heaven does not overlook its chosen ones. It refines them through fire so that their faith shines like gold. Pain became your anointing oil. You were being pressed, but not to break, to produce. When you look back now, you can see that those seasons of crushing brought out a fragrance that could only come from surrender. People saw your struggle, but they never saw your private worship, the moments you fell to your knees when no one was watching, whispering, "Even if you slay me, still I will trust you." Those moments became altars in heaven. You were not just surviving hardship, you were being crowned through it. The angels saw your perseverance, your refusal to curse the God you love, and they marveled. Because pain, for most, is where faith dies, but for you, it's where faith was born. The Spirit spoke through the writings of the Apostle Paul in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 18. I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. That verse has always been true, but now it lives inside you. Your present sufferings have become the soil where glory takes root. The weight you carried was never wasted. It was producing something far greater than you could see. Your pain trained your spirit to see differently. What once looked like endings now looks like beginnings. The people who walked away only cleared space for divine connections. The losses you mourned became lessons that gave you wisdom beyond your years. You have learned to thank God, not only for what He gave, but also for what He took away. The crown of suffering sits gently on your head, not as a reminder of what you lost, but of what you gained through endurance. You wear it with quiet dignity, not arrogance. You know what it cost. You know what it means to stand in faith when the night is long and answers don't come. You've discovered that glory isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet strength that keeps rising after every fall. Heaven calls that kind of endurance holy. It's the faith that can't be faked, the kind that terrifies darkness because it cannot be destroyed. Every scar you carry is sacred proof that you've walked through hell and didn't let go of heaven's hand. Now you walk differently. You speak with more gentleness, love more deeply, forgive more freely. Pain didn't harden you, it purified you. You've become a vessel that can carry compassion without judgment, power without pride, wisdom without bitterness. You are not the same person who entered the storm. You've emerged refined, radiant, resilient. And though the world may not understand how you keep standing, heaven knows. It's because you no longer stand in your own strength. You stand in His. Your wounds have turned into wells of empathy. Your heartbreak has become your ministry. You've turned your pain into a platform where others find healing. That is the true beauty of divine suffering. It transforms victims into victors, mourners into messengers, broken ones into bridges. Through your pain, God has made you a channel of comfort for others who are walking through their own fire. When they see you, they see hope. When they hear your story, they hear survival. When they feel your presence, they feel peace. So know, your pain was never pointless. It was preparation. It was heaven's way of building in you a strength that joy alone could never give. You carry the fragrance of endurance now, and wherever you go, that fragrance testifies of grace. And one day, when you look back on all the roads you walked, all the nights you cried. You'll understand completely every tear was turned into oil, every scar into story, every pain into power. Heaven saw it all, and heaven crowned you through it. There came a point, chosen one, when obedience no longer felt easy. It was no longer about simple choices or comfortable faith. It began to cost you something: your plans, your relationships, your comfort zones, even your reputation. You learned that obedience, when it is true, often looks like loss before it reveals victory. That was the moment heaven leaned closer. Because obedience that costs nothing rarely carries power. But the obedience that breaks your heart, that stretches your will, that demands surrender when you don't understand, that kind of obedience shakes the heavens. It's the kind that tells God, I trust you even when I can't trace you. There were times you asked, why does it have to be this hard? And the Father, though silent, was proud. Because you were learning the language of sacrifice, the sacred dialect of those who walk closely with Him. Every step of surrender became a stone in the path of destiny. Every yes became a doorway to something eternal. You saw others take shortcuts, and for a moment, envy crept in. You wondered if obedience was worth it. You watched those who compromised rise faster, speak louder, gain applause. But God whispered, their harvest will fade, but yours will remain. And though the wait was long, you stayed true. You refused to trade obedience for convenience. According to what is revealed in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 6, verse 46 to 48. Why do you call me, Lord, Lord, and do not do what I say? Everyone who comes to me and hears my words and puts them into practice is like a man building a house, who dug down deep and laid the foundation on rock. That's what you were doing all along, digging deep. While others built fast, you built strong. You didn't realize it at first, but obedience was your foundation. It's why the storms couldn't break you. When the winds came, when the floods rose, you stood not because of willpower, but because your soul was anchored in trust. Obedience cost you things the world will never see: nights of wrestling, decisions that left you lonely, prayers that ended in tears. But heaven saw it all. Every quiet sacrifice, every moment you chose right over easy, was worship. You became a living altar, and God Himself sat upon it. There's a holiness that comes only from hidden obedience. It's not glamorous. It doesn't attract applause, but it attracts glory. You learned that obedience doesn't always open doors instantly. Sometimes it closes them, so that the right one can appear at the appointed time. And now, you walk differently. You don't chase blessings anymore. Blessings follow you. You don't seek validation anymore. Peace is your confirmation. You've learned that obedience is not about outcomes, it's about alignment. The power was never in what you lost, but in what you gained through surrender. Because obedience, chosen one, is the key that fits every locked door. It turns resistance into revelation. It transforms confusion into clarity. You once thought obedience was a cage, but now you see it was a key, carving freedom out of trust. The path of obedience may be narrow, but it leads to wide open places. It may feel like walking through fire, but it ends with the fragrance of rain. Every yes to God creates ripples that touch generations you will never meet. You may never know the full impact of your surrender on this side of eternity, but heaven does. And when you finally stand before Him, you will hear the words every obedient heart longs for: well done, good and faithful servant. That's when every tear, every sacrifice, every misunderstood act will make sense. You'll realize that nothing you gave up was ever truly lost. It was simply transformed into something eternal. So now, as you continue your walk, hold your obedience not as a burden but as a crown. Wear it quietly, proudly, knowing it shines brighter than gold. Because obedience is the proof that you belong fully to Him. It is your love made visible, your trust made tangible. And remember, every act of obedience is heaven's seed. It may fall to the ground unseen, but in due time, it will rise as harvest, overflowing with joy. You may not see it yet, but it's coming. Heaven has already begun to multiply what you surrendered. There are doors in this world, chosen one, that only you can open. Not because of luck, not because of talent, but because your obedience carved the key. While others spent years chasing opportunity, heaven was shaping one specifically for your hands. And now, the lock that resisted everyone else begins to turn easily for you. This is the fruit of hidden faithfulness, the unseen years. The quiet choices, the moments you said yes when no one understood. Heaven never forgets the obedient. Every time you followed the whisper instead of the crowd. The blueprint of your destiny was being etched in light. And now, the doors you once begged for are opening not by force, but by favor. You'll notice that these doors don't creak. They don't resist. They simply yield. Because when it's your time, heaven doesn't require striving, it requires stepping. The same God who trained your patience is now rewarding your persistence. What felt like delay was divine construction. The door wasn't late, it was being reinforced to hold the weight of what you carry. According to the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 8, I know your deeds. See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. I know that you have little strength, yet you have kept my word and have not denied my name. Those words were written for hearts like yours, those who kept believing even when strength was fading. You see, heaven's doors don't respond to titles or applause. They respond to faith. And your faith has spoken louder than your fears ever could. Some doors will open quietly, almost unnoticed, yet they will lead you to spaces designed before you were born. Others will burst open suddenly, like a trumpet announcing a new season. Don't be surprised if both happen. Heaven is not random, it's rhythmic. Every opportunity now aligns perfectly with your obedience. You don't have to chase favor anymore. Favor recognizes you. You've become the sound heaven responds to. The same hand that once trembled in uncertainty now carries authority. That's what obedience does, it transfers heaven's confidence into your spirit. But remember, not every door is your door. Some will glitter but lead to distraction. You've learned to discern by peace, not by pressure. You no longer knock on every entrance. You stand still and let heaven highlight the one marked with your name. There will be people around you who don't understand how things begin to move so easily for you now. Let them wonder. They didn't see the years of breaking, the hidden battles, the cost of your yes. They only see the harvest. They don't know the soil. Smile, stay humble, and keep walking. Keep. Each new door is not a finish line, it's a beginning. What you step into now carries purpose far beyond you. These are doors for destiny, not decoration. Through them, your influence will reach lives you never planned to touch. Through them, your testimony will become a key for someone else still waiting outside. So walk through with reverence. You're not entering by luck, you're entering by legacy. The God who opened it has already prepared everything you need inside. The fear you feel right now is only the shadow of old doubt. It cannot follow you through this threshold. Lift your head, chosen one. Heaven is watching you step into what was always yours. The sound you hear, the gentle click of the lock releasing, is not coincidence. It's prophecy fulfilled. The waiting season is closing. The open door stands before you, glowing like dawn after a long night. And as you take your first step forward, declare it in faith. Speak the words that mark this new season simple, but sacred doors are open. Type it below as your declaration. You're not just commenting, you're confirming, so you're telling heaven, I see what you've done, and I step through without fear. Each time someone writes it, the message echoes louder across this platform of faith. Heaven's doors are open, and the chosen ones are walking through. Chosen one. There are seasons when God calls you to do what looks impossible. Not because he wants to break you, but because he wants to reveal how powerful his strength can be through you. You were never chosen for the easy path. You were chosen to show what faith looks like when the odds say no. The road you walk is sacred ground. You've been assigned tasks that seem far beyond your capacity. Yet every time you take one trembling step forward, heaven multiplies it. The Father delights in working through willing hearts, not perfect ones. Every great story in Scripture began with a yes that made no sense, and yours is no different. When you said yes, the angels leaned in. Heaven took note, because obedience to the impossible always births miracles. You've carried dreams that felt too heavy, visions that seemed unreachable, but they weren't given to crush you. They were given to prove that your weakness is the perfect place for God's power to rest. The apostle reminds us in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 9. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Those words are not a reminder of your limits. They're a declaration of partnership. God never asked you to do it alone. He only asked you to trust him enough to begin. You see, the impossible is heaven's stage. It's where God displays his glory through human surrender. You've been called to be a living example of what happens when faith refuses to quit. Every time you face an obstacle and whisper, I still believe, heaven moves mountains you cannot see. If this word has spoken to you, know that you are part of a larger story being written in light. Every like is not just a click, it's a spark added to the fire of faith. When you share, you become the bridge that carries hope to someone standing at the edge of despair. When you subscribe, you're not joining a channel, you're joining a circle of souls walking toward divine purpose. And if your heart ever feels led to donate, think of it not as giving money, but as watering a living tree. Each seed you sow becomes a branch that reaches further, shading and comforting hearts you may never meet. You're helping this message continue flowing like a river, reaching souls thirsty for one word from heaven. There is no pressure in this invitation, no demand, only gratitude. The same way sunlight asks nothing of the flower it nourishes, this call is gentle, voluntary, sacred. Give only if your spirit whispers. This matters, because when giving flows from love, it becomes worship. Every act of support, every like, share, subscription, or offering keeps the light burning a little brighter. It tells heaven, this message is still needed on earth. You are helping carry a torch across generations. Even the smallest flame you offer becomes part of a larger fire that pushes back darkness. Think of this space as a garden. Some plant, some water, some prune, but all belong to the same purpose: growth. By being here, engaging and sowing, you are tending that garden. You are helping it bloom with words that heal, stories that restore, and truths that set people free. So, chosen one, as you walk this path of impossible calling, remember you are never alone. Every step you take echoes through heaven's courts. Every breath of faith becomes part of something eternal. You are proof that miracles still happen, and that obedience still moves mountains. And when you choose to respond, whether through a like, a share, a subscription, or even a quiet donation, do it knowing that you're not funding a voice, you're fueling a mission. You're keeping a lamp lit for souls still searching in the dark. Every act of faith, no matter how small, build something eternal. Your kindness today becomes tomorrow's miracle for someone else. Heaven keeps perfect record of love freely given. And when you give, whether through words, time, or offering, you are writing your own legacy of light upon the pages of eternity. So walk forward with peace, knowing you are part of heaven's heartbeat. The flame you help sustain continues to guide those still lost in the dark. What you've sown in faith will bloom in divine timing, radiant and abundant. You have become both the message and the miracle you once prayed for. It is a strange and sacred thing. Chosen one, when everything within you begins to align, your spirit, your wounds, and your purpose moving as one, you start to notice how the pieces that once seemed random now form a pattern. How even your pain has rhythm and your story divine symmetry. What once looked like chaos now reveals orchestration. This is the reunion of spirit and purpose. It doesn't arrive with noise, but with peace. It happens when your inner world finally matches heaven's design for you. You used to chase calling, praying, "God, what do you want me to do?" But now, you've learned that purpose isn't something you chase, it's something you become. Heaven doesn't hand out blueprints for comfort. It invites hearts into transformation. You've been through the refining, through silence and fire, through obedience that cost you everything. Each stage wasn't separate, it was sequential. Like the crafting of a vessel, every part of you was shaped for this convergence. Now, your spirit and your purpose no longer compete, they collaborate. Your gifts, once scattered, begin to flow in harmony. The things that once wounded you have become wisdom. The pain that once silenced you has become your message. And the very places you once hid have become altars of revelation. Heaven designed you as both vessel and voice. And when alignment happens, everything around you begins to change. The world senses it before you even speak, a calm authority, a presence that carries peace. You no longer need to announce yourself. Heaven's mark upon you does it silently. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 16, verse 11. You make known to me the path of life. You will fill me with joy in your presence, with eternal pleasures at your right hand. This verse is no longer just words, it's experience. The path of life has revealed itself in you, not as a straight line, but as a tapestry of divine moments woven through joy, heartbreak, surrender, and grace. You have walked through valleys, climbed unseen mountains, and finally found your rhythm in His steps. Purpose doesn't mean perfection. It means peace. It means waking up knowing you don't have to prove your worth anymore because you've already been approved. You understand now that identity comes before assignment. You are not what you do for God, you are who you are in God. When your spirit reunites with purpose, distractions lose their voice. The opinions of others fade, and comparison no longer burns. You find satisfaction not in applause, but in alignment. You've learned to live from within, not from reaction but revelation. People around you begin to notice it. The unforced grace, the quiet confidence. They don't realize that what they're seeing is not achievement, but alignment. The same pain that once threatened to drown you now flows like a river of compassion through your words, your work, your presence. Every moment of misunderstanding, every delay, every dark night, it all served to unite you with your design. Even your failures were bridges. Every detour redirected you to destiny. You are walking now not in confusion but in clarity, not in striving but in stillness. And perhaps the most beautiful part of this reunion is this: the things you once prayed God would remove are now the very things He uses to bless others through you. Your scars have become sentences in his story. Your history has become his message. You carry redemption, not regret. You no longer need to ask, "What is my purpose?" because you've become the answer. You are the living evidence of transformation, the intersection where heaven's will meets human surrender. The past doesn't define you, it refines you. The future doesn't intimidate you, it invites you. This is what wholeness feels like, not the absence of pain, but the presence of peace. The restlessness that once ruled you is gone. You found home, not in a place, but in his will. Walk gently in this new rhythm. It is sacred ground beneath your feet. You are walking as one who has seen both the depth of loss and the height of grace and found them to be the same road leading home. The reunion of spirit and purpose is heaven's masterpiece displayed through your life. And as heaven watches, the angels sing not because your journey was easy, but because you allowed every step, every scar, and every silence to become part of his perfect design. There are moments when you can feel the weight of heaven resting on you, not as a burden, but as a covering. It's the moment when you realize that you are no longer just walking with God, you are walking in his authority. That is the mantle of glory. You didn't earn it, you endured for it. It's not the reward of achievement, but the inheritance of alignment. When you surrendered, heaven took note. When you obeyed in silence, heaven recorded it. And now, heaven responds not with applause, but with anointing. This mantle doesn't shine like gold, nor does it draw attention. It's quiet, steady, invisible to the proud, but unmistakable to the humble. You carry it not on your shoulders, but in your spirit. It's the calm confidence that comes from knowing you're not walking alone anymore. When this mantle rests upon you, your presence begins to carry weight. Not the weight of pride, but the gravity of grace. You notice it when your words start to heal without effort, when your prayers begin to pierce the darkness, when peace follows you into rooms that used to feel heavy. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14, "You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden." Those words are more than encouragement. They are your identity. You are that city, chosen one, not hidden, not forgotten, but elevated by grace. The mantle you carry is light, and that light is meant to be seen. This is not the same as recognition. Recognition is what people give. Glory is what God gives. The difference is that recognition fades, but glory multiplies. When heaven clothes you with glory, it's not to make you famous, it's to make him visible through you. You'll begin to sense it in small ways. Strangers will find comfort in your voice without knowing why. Conversations will shift because of the peace you bring. The same hands that once trembled in fear now release blessing. It's not charisma, it's the mantle. But remember, this mantle is not decoration, it's responsibility. It means walking humbly even when you have power. It means loving deeply even when you're misunderstood. It means reflecting heaven even when earth rejects you. Glory doesn't come to make you comfortable, it comes to make you capable. The enemy fears this kind of anointing because it cannot be manufactured or stolen. It's not a performance, it's presence. And presence carries authority. The more you yield, the stronger it flows. The more you try to own it, the faster it fades. You've been through seasons where you felt invisible, unseen, overlooked. But invisibility was never rejection, it was preparation. Heaven hides those it intends to reveal at the right time. And now that your heart is steady, the mantle has found its resting place. Don't rush to display it, simply live it. Your life itself will preach louder than any sermon. Your gentleness will disarm anger, your joy will defy despair, and your peace will announce to darkness, the glory of God is here. The mantle isn't about superiority, it's about service. You are clothed in compassion, covered in humility, and crowned with grace. Heaven trusts you with influence because you've proven you won't use it for self-gain. And now, as you read these words, heaven whispers something simple but powerful. You carry what others will come to find. You are the evidence of divine transformation, the living reminder that obedience always leads to overflow. If this truth resonates in your spirit, if you sense that this mantle has indeed rested upon your life, take a sacred moment of agreement. Comment the number 3333 below. Let it be your sign of heaven's presence manifesting in you. 3 represents divine fullness, the union of Father, Son, and Spirit, and the repetition of it seals that truth over your life. 333 is not a number of pride, but of promise. It means I am clothed in glory, and I will use it to lift others. When you type it, do so with reverence, not routine. Let your heart whisper, I accept this mantle with humility. Heaven hears even your silence. And with that one act of faith, the light you carry burns brighter. When heaven places a mantle upon a life, it doesn't stay hidden for long. Slowly, quietly, the earth begins to notice. The change isn't loud, it's luminous. It radiates from your words, your gaze, your presence. The same people who once dismissed you begin to sense something different, something beyond explanation. You haven't become someone new. You've simply become fully you. It's not pride that draws attention, it's purity. True transformation carries its own fragrance, a peace that cannot be faked. You no longer chase validation, yet it finds you. Opportunities appear not because you strive, but because light attracts what belongs to it. Heaven has turned the invisible years into visible favor. You walk into places that once intimidated you and feel no fear. The anxiety that used to chain your spirit has lost its grip. You move through rooms with quiet strength, not needing to be heard. Yet everyone senses the gravity of your presence. You've become a reflection of something divine, steady, kind, unshakable. The ancient words recorded in the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 1, ring true for this season. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. Those words are not a command, they're a recognition. Heaven is saying, the light within you is ready to be seen. What has been forming in secret is now maturing into visibility. You no longer carry potential, you carry power. You no longer hope for favor, you walk in it. This visibility, however, is not about applause or fame, it's about assignment. When light rises, darkness notices. You are being positioned where influence meets purpose. God doesn't reveal His chosen ones for their comfort, He reveals them for His cause. The attention that once frightened you is now the platform from which heaven will speak. People may not understand where your strength comes from. They'll see your peace under pressure, your faith under fire, your joy in sorrow, and they'll wonder. What they're witnessing is not resilience, it's resurrection. The same power that raised Christ from the dead now animates your daily life. You are living proof that light always wins. And yet, this new season will ask for the same humility that sustained you in the wilderness. The higher God elevates you, the deeper He calls you to kneel. The more visibility you receive, the more invisibility you must seek in prayer. Visibility is stewardship, not celebration. You've become the answered prayer of others, the mentor someone prayed to find, the voice someone needed to hear, the example someone hoped was real. Your life now carries weight because your pain gave it depth. You've learned to listen, to forgive, to lead without ego. This is what spiritual maturity looks like. It shines without blinding. You no longer measure success by applause or numbers. Your spirit has outgrown performance. You measure by presence, by the peace that lingers after you've spoken, by the hope that stays in the room after you leave. That's the mark of divine influence. It doesn't fade when you're gone. This is also the season when you'll see promises fulfilled that you forgot you prayed for. The relationships, the resources, the doors, they begin to align because the vessel is finally ready. What once felt like waiting now feels like timing. You realize that God's later was never denial. It was perfection in process. Don't rush this moment. Let heaven reveal you at its own pace. The right people will find you without self-promotion. The right opportunities will recognize you without striving. You are not competing anymore, you are completing. What was scattered is now gathered. What was delayed is now delivered. Even the challenges that remain will serve your story. Light is most visible against shadow. Every resistance only confirms the reality of your assignment. You are not fighting for position anymore. You are protecting purpose. That's why you don't panic when the storm comes. You've already learned how to dance in rain. And through it all, never forget what the world sees as success. Heaven calls stewardship. You've been entrusted with influence not to be admired, but to illuminate. You are not the source of the light, you are the lamp. And lamps don't choose where they shine. They simply stay lit. So walk gently in this season of recognition. Let humility be your crown and compassion your signature. Let the same grace that found you in the shadows guide you in the spotlight. The earth may finally see you, but heaven has seen you all along, and heaven still leads the way. There is a point in every divine journey. Chosen one. When your voice begins to change, it no longer carries the tone of fear or uncertainty, it carries the resonance of purpose. You begin to speak not just for yourself, but for others. Your words, once timid, now travel with authority. They pierce through confusion, they comfort the weary, they call the lost back home. This is what happens when the voice of legacy awakens. It's not something you learn. It's something heaven births inside you. Legacy doesn't begin when your life ends, it begins when your obedience starts echoing beyond your own story. You are no longer living just for yourself. You're building for generations. You see, legacy is not made of grand gestures or fleeting fame, it's made of faithfulness. It's the quiet strength of someone who keeps showing up when no one's watching. It's the prayer whispered in the night that outlives your lifetime. It's the kindness you give that ripples through lives you'll never meet. Heaven records such moments, and they become the foundation stones of eternal legacy. Your journey up to this point, the silence, the fire, the surrender, the anointing has not been random. It's been a preparation for this to carry a voice that changes atmospheres. You don't speak for applause anymore, you speak for impact. You speak because heaven has entrusted you with words that carry light into shadowed hearts. The prophet Isaiah once wrote in the book of Isaiah, chapter 51, verse 16, "I have put my words in your mouth and covered you with the shadow of my hand." That's what this season feels like, the gentle weight of divine responsibility. You have heaven's words in your mouth now, and they carry life. Your story has power because it's not just yours anymore, it's part of heaven's story written through human hands. There are people waiting for your words, though they don't know it yet. They are wandering through the same valleys you once walked, crying the same prayers you once prayed. Your honesty will be their map. Your scars will be their proof that healing is possible. That's the sacred nature of legacy. It turns personal pain into collective hope. You may not realize it, but every time you share truth, comfort, or encouragement, heaven amplifies it. Your words become seeds that grow in unseen places. Sometimes they bloom quickly, sometimes they take years, but they always take root somewhere. Nothing spoken under the guidance of the Spirit ever fades. It simply finds the soil prepared for it. You are learning to use your voice differently now. You no longer speak to convince, you speak to awaken. You no longer seek to be heard, you speak to heal. The timbre of your spirit carries compassion. And compassion has a sound heaven recognizes. This is why you've walked through so many different seasons, because each one gave your voice a new depth. Pain gave it empathy. Waiting gave it patience. Breakthrough gave it hope. The fire gave it authority. Together, they formed a symphony that no one else on earth can reproduce. That's the beauty of divine legacy. It is uniquely your melody, yet orchestrated by God. You will notice that people begin to respond differently now. Some will find peace when you speak, others will feel conviction, a few may even resist. But don't be discouraged. Light always divides before it unites. Keep speaking truth with gentleness, love without compromise, and grace without limit. Your voice isn't meant to please, it's meant to pierce through darkness with healing. Legacy is not about being remembered, it's about leaving something alive. Your influence will remain in the hearts you've touched, in the prayers you've prayed, in the hope you've reignited. You are writing with your life what no book could capture fully, a story that will echo beyond your time. And in this season, heaven smiles because the voice it trained in whispers now speaks with steady power. You've become both messenger and message, both song and sound. Your voice carries generations inside it, the laughter of those who will walk freer because you refused to quit. So speak, chosen one. Speak with the weight of heaven but the tenderness of grace. Speak with fire, but never without love. For your legacy isn't built by volume, it's built by truth carried in compassion. And every time you speak from that sacred place, heaven writes another line in the eternal story of light overcoming darkness. The closer you walk with God, chosen one, the more you realize that this journey was never just about survival. It was about inheritance. You have fought, prayed, and endured through storms that would have crushed others. And now you stand in a holy tension, peace on one side and battle on the other. Because every crown comes with a war. This is the war for the crown, the final stretch where heaven polishes the chosen and darkness makes its last attempt to break them. But you've already been marked by victory. You are not fighting for the crown, you are fighting from it. Heaven already placed it upon your head the moment you said yes. This battle isn't about external enemies, it's about inner distractions. The quiet whispers of fear trying to reclaim territory it no longer owns. You know that voice. It tells you that you're not ready, not worthy, not enough. But the truth has already been spoken. You are God's masterpiece, and no lie can erase what grace has written. It is written in the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 13. Therefore, put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground. And after you have done everything to stand, you have stood, beloved. Through weariness, rejection, delay, you have stood. And heaven takes note of every step. The crown you carry is not made of gold or jewels, it's made of endurance. It shines with obedience, glows with faith, and hums with the sound of trust. But here's what heaven wants you to know. This crown isn't for you to hide, it's for you to use. You wear it so others can see what faith looks like when it refuses to quit. Your crown becomes a mirror for the hopeless. A reminder that divine victory is possible. You've seen how one voice can ignite thousands. How one act of kindness can ripple through time. How one surrendered heart can change entire generations. That's why what we build here, these words, these moments, these stories matters. Each one is a spark in the grand fire of faith. And that fire doesn't stay contained. It spreads through every like, every share, every comment that carries light into someone else's darkness. Each simple act is a candle passed from hand to hand. A like is a spark that says, "This light matters." A share is a torch offered to another soul still walking through night. When you subscribe, you step into the river itself, the current of grace that keeps this message flowing forward. The more who join, the wider the river grows, carrying truth into unseen places. And when hearts choose to comment, those words become stones in the riverbed, steadying its flow and giving others a place to stand. And if you ever feel led to donate, see it not as giving, but as pouring oil into the lamp that keeps this fire alive. You're not fueling a project, you're sustaining a flame that warms hearts and guides wanderers home. Every drop you give glows quietly in the dark, unseen yet profoundly felt. There is no pressure here, only invitation. Heaven never demands, it only beckons. Give, share, support, speak only if your heart stirs with peace. Because when generosity flows from freedom, it becomes worship. Every act of engagement, each click, each word, each offering is a note in the music of faith we are composing together. You are part of that song. You are helping keep the rhythm of hope beating in a world that has forgotten how to listen. This isn't about me. It's about us. Every flame joined, every river widened, every lamp filled with oil, we are building a constellation of light across the world. And someday, when someone finds these words and their heart awakens, heaven will whisper, "You helped light that star." So however your spirit leads, like, share, comment, subscribe, or give, let it be done with love. Each act is a whisper of devotion, a way of telling heaven, this flame will not go out. There comes a sacred point in every journey when surrender becomes total, when there's nothing left to give except your whole self. You reach a place where prayers are no longer requests but offerings, where the heart no longer wrestles with timing, where every breath says, "Yes, Lord, even now." This is the final yes, the quiet culmination of everything heaven has been shaping within you. It doesn't sound dramatic. It doesn't arrive with thunder or tears. It comes softly, almost unnoticed, like dawn slipping over a long night. And yet, that single whisper of surrender shifts more in heaven than 1,000 loud declarations ever could. Because this yes is complete, it carries no conditions, no hidden fear, no hesitation. At this point, chosen one, you begin to see how every detour, every heartbreak, every season of silence led you here. The journey wasn't random, it was refinement. The trials that bruised you were not curses, they were chisels in the hand of a loving sculptor. Every moment that broke you was also shaping you for divine usefulness. You now understand what many never do. God never wanted your perfection, He wanted your permission. And you've finally given it all of it. You have stepped out of striving and into surrender. You no longer ask, "Why me?" Instead, your soul whispers, "Use me." The Spirit spoke through the words of Philippians chapter 2, verse 13. "For it is God who works in you to will and to act in order to fulfill His good purpose." That verse is alive inside you now. You can feel it, how your desires have changed, how your ambitions have quieted, how your will has merged with His. You no longer chase purpose as an external prize. You live it as an internal rhythm. You've discovered the secret that peace doesn't come from control, it comes from consent. The final yes means you stop negotiating with destiny. You stop asking for shortcuts or signs. You simply trust. You wake up each day and say, "Whatever you want, I want." That is the sound of mature faith, the kind that doesn't depend on outcomes to remain faithful. In this surrender, the noise inside you quiets. You stop measuring yourself by progress or recognition. You measure by presence, by whether your spirit feels near to Him. And in that closeness, there is a freedom the world cannot imitate. Because true freedom is not doing what you want, it's wanting what God does. The final yes is not passive, it's powerful. It doesn't mean you stop moving, it means your movement now flows with grace. You're no longer pushing doors open, you're walking through the ones that swing freely before you. You no longer fear loss, because you've learned that nothing surrendered to God ever truly disappears, it transforms. You might not even notice how your countenance changes. There's a calm in your eyes, a quiet authority in your voice. People around you can feel it, that you've stopped fighting and started flowing. They see peace and mistake it for strength, not realizing they're the same thing when God fills the soul. The final yes is where striving ends and creation begins. It's where you step fully into partnership with heaven. Now, when you speak, you carry the echo of eternity. When you move, the air itself seems to shift. Because your life is no longer divided between sacred and ordinary, it's all worship now. Every act of kindness, every word spoken in truth, every prayer whispered for another, it all carries the fragrance of surrender. And heaven moves easily through surrendered vessels. The more you yield, the more He flows, the more you rest, the more He works. And perhaps the most beautiful part of this surrender is that you stop fearing tomorrow. The future no longer intimidates you because you finally understand who holds it. You don't need to know what's next. You just need to keep saying yes. So here you stand still, open, whole. The battles behind you make sense now. The waiting, the weeping, the wondering, they've all become worship. You have learned that faith was never about getting what you wanted, but becoming who you were meant to be. The final yes isn't an ending. It's a beginning, the doorway where heaven's will and your will become one. It's the sound of destiny exhaling, the quiet applause of angels who watched you fight, fall, rise, and finally surrender. Heaven writes your name not in ink but in light, for you have chosen the rarest path, obedience without resistance, love without condition, and faith without fear. And now, chosen one, the heavens grow still. The same realm that once roared at your surrender now stands in reverent silence. Every angel, every witness of light pauses as you step fully into His will. This is no ordinary moment. It is the culmination of all the refining, all the surrendering, all the whispers that shaped your soul into obedience. You have become what heaven saw from the beginning, a vessel in harmony with divine rhythm. There is no striving left in you, no tug of war between faith and fear. What remains is peace pure, unbroken, radiant peace. You stand in the center of God's will, not as one who earned it, but as one who was remade for it. All of heaven watches because the story has reached its holy crescendo. The long night of wrestling has given way to morning light. The seed of your obedience has bloomed into a garden of purpose. The tears that once fell in hidden places have become rivers watering the lives of others. Nothing was wasted, nothing forgotten. Every sorrow has turned into song. You can almost hear the sound, the quiet hum of heaven's joy, the heartbeat of eternity keeping time with your steps. This is what alignment feels like. No anxiety, no striving, only flow. You don't walk ahead of God or behind Him, you walk with Him, side by side, as a child finally trusting the Father's hand. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 33, verse 14. My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest. That promise now lives within you. Rest not idleness, but completeness. You are no longer wandering. You are rooted, no longer reaching outward for approval. You are anchored in divine affection. Rest has become your rhythm, not because life is easy, but because your spirit is settled in purpose. Heaven's silence in this moment is not distance, it's awe. The angels do not speak because the sight before them is worship itself, a human heart fully yielded, perfectly aligned, radiant with grace. This is what God had in mind when He whispered your name before time began. You've traveled through wilderness and wonder, through delay and delight, through refining fire and resting stillness. Each chapter prepared you for this one, the chapter of fulfillment. This isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of God's story through you. The divine author has taken the pen, and the ink He uses now is glory. Your life, once marked by uncertainty, now radiates assurance. Every movement is guided, every decision anchored in peace. You have become the melody that heaven hums when it speaks of obedience. The same heart that once trembled now carries holy confidence. You've become living proof that surrender is not loss, it's transformation. And heaven rejoices not loudly this time, but deeply. The celebration is not of noise, but of knowing. Angels look upon you and see the reflection of their King. The Father gazes upon you and calls it good. You are no longer a wandering soul searching for destiny. You are destiny fulfilled. What you carry now isn't ambition, but assignment. You no longer ask for signs, you are one. Your life itself is the testimony, the miracle, the message. You were chosen not to be perfect, but to be pliable, to let heaven shape something eternal from human clay. And now that shaping is complete. You stand as one who has walked through the fire and come out glowing. The gold in you has been purified, the cracks filled with glory. You've become both vessel and flame, both altar and offering. The very air around you seems to hum with holiness. This is the moment heaven had been waiting for, the moment when a life becomes a living temple, when obedience meets destiny and sparks eternity. You are the sound of God's will made visible on earth. Every breath you take now echoes with divine purpose. And so heaven erupts once more, not in chaos, but in perfect harmony. Trumpets of light resound. Choirs of eternity sing your name, not because you are great, but because grace has done its perfect work in you. You have walked the long road, and you have arrived not at an end, but at an eternal beginning. You are no longer seeking His will. You are walking within it. Heaven stands still in awe. And then, like dawn breaking over creation, it bursts into praise. All of heaven erupts in joy, because one child has done what few ever dare. You have fully walked in His will. Beloved chosen one, if these words have stirred something deep within you, if you have felt heaven brush against your heart through this journey, pause and breathe. This isn't the end. It's the unfolding of everything you've become. You are part of something luminous, something far greater than pages or pixels. Each moment spent here was not coincidence. It was divine orchestration. You were meant to read these words, to feel seen, to remember that your life carries heaven's fingerprints. And now, that same light can move through you to reach another heart waiting in the shadows. When you like this message, it's more than appreciation, it's affirmation. It tells heaven, I've heard you, and I will keep this flame alive. When you share, you extend that flame to another soul, like passing a candle in the dark. You never know whose night might be illuminated by your small act of faith. If your heart feels drawn to comment, let your words become ripples of light. Someone scrolling through silence may see your words and realize they're not alone. Every comment here is more than text. It's a seed of hope sown into eternity's soil. When you subscribe, you're not joining a channel, you're joining a flow of grace. You are choosing to stay connected to a voice that keeps reminding you of who you are: chosen, seen, loved, called. And if you ever feel moved to donate, know that it isn't payment, it's participation. Your offering becomes oil poured into a lamp that continues to burn for others. It fuels the ongoing work of spreading faith, comfort, and purpose. No one is asked, no one is pressured. It is simply an open door, a holy invitation for hearts that recognize the light and choose to keep it glowing. Thank you for walking this divine journey. Thank you for listening when heaven spoke through the quiet. May your life now shine brighter than ever. And may you always remember this light began with a whisper, but it continues through you.